Yep. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Dota Show episode 54. And today's Thursday, which means we are casting a Dota 1 replay. Now, if you guys came here earlier, which you should, you got the chance to vote on one of these replays. And the replay that we are going to be casting today will be number 1, NWO versus LGD.sGty. Pretend you haven't seen that, because that's a spoiler alert. Let's jump into the game. My co-host today, as usual, is going to be B-Balling773. What's up, man?
How you doing? This is, again, not the match I wanted, but we are nothing if devoted to the viewers. I wanted to cast that Waga match once again, but hey, I guess maybe another time. But anyway, this is a pretty exciting matchup. This is an online tournament, and this was right after the time where it was proven that Chinese Dota is the best and all that jazz. DTS just went there. They got beaten, even though
Stomped.
They didn't get stomped. They beat LGD. They only lost to Nirvana China.
They didn't win.
They didn't win. But they beat 2 out of the top 3.
I'm very serious when it comes to Chinese fanboying, especially back in the Dota 1 days. But this is an online tournament, and there's, all the issues with lags and whatnot, but this is one of the, actually the best of 3 series ever as an online tournament between East and West. And this is game number 1 of it, I believe.
Yep, and this is NWO. This is the team that Puppy made right before they got sponsored by GGNet.
Well, Puppy kind of left, and then they got sponsored by GGNet.
No,
or actually,
GGNet sponsored them, and then
Puppy left. Okay.
Yeah, like 3 months before TI won.
I wonder why he left. But
yeah.
All right, NWO on the Sentinel side, LGD on the Scourge. Listen, pause. 25 seconds in. 3, 2, 1, go.
And I pressed unpause, but it did not do that, so I'll just speed up.
Just unpause again.
It's
yeah,
okay.
we got a lot of time to
catch up. Anyway.
Yeah, catch up on this Dota 1 pick and ban. I miss Dota 1, sort of. Yeah, I do.
You missed, cross-continental Dota 1, not sort of the Dota 1 we see these days.
Yeah, I don't miss that at all. I miss the days of like WDC 2010, WDC 2011. Those are the Dota 1 games that are exciting. I remember like just waiting in front of the computer for replays and then casting them straight, uploading them, kind of basically the next day. I actually had a chance to. This is like story time for me, but I had a chance to actually go back to watch some of my older replays, like commentary 28 or something like that, random. I'm like, God, these games are so awesome to watch. I had to watch the commentary on mute because I could not stand my own commentary. So, it was good though.
High endorsement right off the bat.
Yeah.
From Lunas himself, saying that you should not go watch his commentaries because they are ass.
Apparently. You should watch it, but on mute.
Yeah, but your camera control.
It's good, man. I don't miss first split ever. When did I ever miss first split?
And it's kind of weird because Holy Masters are free, and so apparently in order to be a good admin, you have to add the word Holy in your name.
Yes.
Atri, you got to be Holy Atri now.
We got Holy One here. I mean, that's why Holy One is actually the main admin now, because he's got Holy in the name.
Yep. But yeah, NWO versus LGD.CH, and this is LGD with who? CHY with Benz, which is Sharigan.
Sharigan, yep.
GX legendary support, ZSMJ legendary carry.
This is actually like I think they kicked somebody else and Benz came in. So this is like version number 2 of the legendary LGD squad. Not the one where ZSMJ went Superman mode. I think they're beginning to slump a little bit, but still one of the kind of the powerhouses back in China.
Yeah, they were probably like third best.
They're always like second or third, it's like it's eHome, LGD.
I think at this, eHome and DK were eHome and Nirvana China were the best, and then it was LGD. Meanwhile, NWO, I think this was PyCat's first major team. He was pretty much a noob at this point, and then he just came pretty much bursting onto the scene with NWO.
Yeah, I think he had a lot of experience on in-house leagues and stuff like that. But this is, playing for the big money. As I think this is Farm for Fame semifinal. Did you say that already?
No, this is the Rocat online thing for like 30 grand.
Yeah, there's a lot of money involved, and for some of the.
What's the Razor thing? 30 grand. Maybe this is a different.
I thought it was Farm for Fame, but maybe I remember incorrectly. But
no, this is Rocat. But there was another online tournament that was like 30 grand that I think maybe MYM one that was 30K. This is RoCap, but I think the other one was Razor. So too many tournaments. Too many tournaments.
Too many tournaments to remember, which is actually one of the more odd thing to say about back in Dota 1. For anybody that didn't watch Dota 1, there was a lot of like in-house leagues. There weren't a lot of tournaments that paid people. Not like today, where pro teams played in 3 different tournaments per day, right? Something like that. And you know, you get tournament finals every other month or so. Back in those days, you had like 2 tournaments a year. You know, 2 online tournaments, like a LAN tournament, and that's it. So there's a lot of just, you know, scrims. There's very little, or at least, am I remembering it wrong? Maybe
Well,
there's more.
there were online tournaments, but they're all like the final prize pool was $500. There was
Yeah.
only like 2 big tournaments a year,
Right.
and that included land play as well. So there was like maybe 1 or 2 big online tournaments, probably just like one. I can't really remember too many big online. And then there was probably like 2 or 3 big lands. SMM, WDC when it came out in 2010. You know, ESWC. And DreamHack before they dropped it. I
Yeah.
can't really remember too many lands, but that was pretty much it. And the Ukraine stuff like Tech Labs and all that, Asus and stuff like that.
All right, let's talk about the picks and bans as we have the Brewmother, Storm Spirit, and Visage. Hold on. You know, Nebula and I were having a discussion the other day, and he was telling me that back in 2010, Visage had the 5 remnants instead of the 2 birds. And he was trying to convince me that I was wrong. I had to lay a smackdown on his head.
Maybe it was like early 2000s.
No, it wasn't. Like, man, 2000 Visage was fixed, and then he got broken. So, I mean, so he wasn't fixed.
Yeah, but that old Visage with the Spectre, probably 2 of the most long-standing imbalance heroes of all time. So, yeah, then they got reworked it, and then Visage was a powerhouse because tri-lanes and solo something ridiculous, and now Visage is garbage tier.
I like him, but people...
He's garbage tier.
Okay, fine. It's like the sad okay face. LGD is going to be banning the Doombringer, Pugna, as well as Enigma. These are by far the most standard ban back in nowadays, or back in the day. Stormster wasn't really a standard ban, but perhaps afraid of LGD Storm. I think YYF played a Storm. I'm not exactly too sure who did. I'm guessing
I think
YYF.
It was YYF.
Yeah. YYF played a Mistolo back then. 2009, of course, was replaced by Benz. That's a member that we didn't talk about. Of course, Pugna wasn't a stable ban either. Unless I'm, again, missing something here.
No, I think he actually was a stable ban, especially against European teams, because they love that Pugna with the Nether Blast pushing towers. I think he was actually a pretty stable ban these days.
Alright.
Especially in an online environment, like, you can't really play to the best of ability, you can't really just isolate the ward and kill it before Pugna does a ridiculous amount of damage, so yeah, makes sense to me.
Yeah, hard to really push against it. Very good flash farmer as your kind of your secondary carry in a sense. So Pugna gets axe here. I'm going to see Vengeful Spirit line as well as the Dazzle. So right off the get-go, this is where if we were casting it in the yesteryears, we would go crazy because first of all, Dazzle is never picked. And second of all, we're probably going to see a farming Dazzle in a sense because Vengeful Spirit and Line mostly on a support role, or Line when he was picked up was always solo mid. So one of these is going to be on the solo. And we don't really know which one is going to be on solo.
I always say if Dazzle, if you give him farm, of course it's a risk, but he's probably the best support hero in the game if you give him farm and experience, just because he scales pretty much better than any other late game support, and he can semi-carry pretty well as well, but yeah, Dazzle definitely not seen. I think the only real stable time he was seen was back in the Whale days, probably like 3 years ago, one of Luminous's first commentaries. It was Fnatic using the Dazzle slaughter lane with Lodo and Miracle, but that's the only time Dazzle was ever pretty much seen consistently. But yeah, he's a fringe pick from time to time, very rarely, but he always makes an impact in my opinion.
Yeah, and let's see how much impact he's gonna make here. Puppy, I mean, he's drafting crazy as the way we're seeing it, because again, Dazzle is one of those fringe picks. Now here's the thing, this is a replay from the 6.68 era, so that's really before the Chinese, well, when did Chinese actually dominate? I know they dominated 6.9.
Well, 6.68, I looked just before this, and it was released August 3rd, 2010, so it was still in the Chinese dominance, but I think this might have been like maybe January of 2011. I'm not too sure.
Man,
or
we don't
maybe
even
like
know.
February.
We don't even
like
know.
That.
Yeah, we don't know. But I'm very curious on what stage of the Venge era we're in right now. I'm not sure if this is pre-Venge nerf, after Venge nerf. So that also depends quite a bit. This is why it's very difficult and at the same time very fun to cast one of these throwback matches. A lot of times, a small change for like your like Vengeful Spirit changes their build completely. And for a caster like myself, I have no idea what the hell, what Venge era are we in? I don't know what's going on right now.
It's a bit surprising because only one of the staple most top 5 consistent heroes is in the ban or the pick phase, and that is no two. Never mind, Windrunner of course, but Broodmother got the ban, and that's pretty much it so far. But yeah, NWO not picking up a jungler. I think back in those days, Puppey was not feared nearly as much as he was now compared to Melk, who was pretty much the only stable Chen player, I think.
Well, back in the day, Chen wasn't a high pick, at least not in 2010 tri-lane era, because if you don't have a tri-lane, you did. So, that's why we see things like Visage ban, Earthshaker ban, that are truly much...
Alchemist ban?
What?
Alchemist ban.
Not sure what that... Well, Alchemist was a de facto powerful carry back in those days. So,
yeah,
if we're casting a normal game right now, we'll be looking like, okay, LGD has a Morphling, so, Puppey's gonna pick up a Drow, because Drow was the other kind of hard carry back in those time. But Puppey ain't gonna pick a Drow, let me tell you that. Actually, will he? I think he can. No, I don't think this is a Drow game.
Stop trying to make it suspenseful, as you clearly know what they're gonna pick.
I don't actually remember. I know one of the hero that's gonna be coming up. I don't know the last one. And to be honest, we have, it'll fit this strat if it is a Drow.
It could be, but
okay,
we're gonna see the carry as Luna.
Yeah.
This is not TI2 days where Luna is now picked quite frequently. The only ever time Luna was picked was probably like 652 back when I first started following competitive Dota. Not ever watching, but just following the news. And that was when Luna pretty much turtled all game with Pit Lord, and Vengeful Spirit was pretty much the only counter to that because you can swap down Pit Lord. But back in those days, Luna pretty much farmed all day. But now, Luna... This is like the first time anybody's ever seen her in a year, so everybody probably is going absolutely apeshit.
People are already going nuts like right now. Like, my god, it's a Dazzle first, and then a Luna, and then what's next, right? You have the makings of already an aura-based strategy. Vengeful Spirit with the with the plus damage aura, Luna with yet another plus damage aura, and suddenly Lycanthrope, which wasn't what we know, just a couple months ago with Lycanthrope.
Different Luna plus damage aura, I think. This is
it's the static plus, right? It's still the static plus, or is it
no,
a percentage?
I think it's the percentage one.
Not too sure. Maybe we'll click on it right now once he's skilled it. And of course, Lycanthrope. I mean, you want to get the introduction to this hero because he was picked. He was perma first pick, first ban. In fact, some tournaments even auto banned him at some stage. And then he was like fixed, or he was forgotten, and then nobody even cared about him anymore. And this is during that time. And again, we have this Lycanthrope picked up.
This is, well, I actually completely forgot about the Lycan, because Lycan was definitely not seen in 2010, early 2011. This is with the new Wolf. Before he had the old 42nd Wolf, that was like way before. But this is the new Wolf. I don't remember what made him so good. Maybe they just realized, okay, you can jungle better. Maybe it was because, like you said, you need to have a tri-lane versus a tri-lane in order to really succeed. But I'm not really too sure what changes Lycan had on other than that. Maybe Howl wasn't global range? I'm not too sure.
Oh, Silkwood, about to get picked off. Let's introduce the players who's playing the hero. Miracle, one of my favorite support heroes in the European scene of all time. Gonna be handling the Vengeful Spirit. Of course, he's been playing support for like the highest team. Of course, recently, in CLG in TI2. Maybe you have heard of that tournament. Kuroki is gonna be playing the Luna. Don't need to talk too much about him. It is a Lunar Blessing level 1, and it seems like a percentage base because +8 damage. I think that's a percentage.
I think it is. So yeah, this is completely unseen, as looks like Miracle is going to be able to escape safely. Meanwhile, Lycanthrope's going to get driven out as jungle. Already has Observer Ward given to him. Meanwhile, on the top lane, we're going to see a solo top Dazzle going up against the Morphling. So this is pretty cool. We're not going to see a solo mid Dazzle. Instead, we are going to see a solo mid Lion. So right now, all of these lanes completely messed up. But Dazzle versus Morphling, Dazzle will have a decent time, but obviously be able to kill the Morphling.
Yeah, let me finish introducing the players. Azen's going to be playing mid with the Demon Witch. You talked about Dazzle solo top. That's going to be handled by Pycat. You talked about the beginnings of a legendary carry player. On the Scourge team is going to be Benz or Shuriken playing the Windrunner support, being handled by GX Witch Doctor. In the jungle, it's going to be Captain CH playing the Chen. This, by the way, is like one of the most perfect tri-lane player combination because that's what they play all the time. CH, Shuriken, and as well as Benz. And of course, back in the mid lane here for the Scourge team, it is going to be YYF, a very, very well-respected clock player back in the Chinese scene. And of course, ZSMJ playing the traditional carry on the top lane, soloing it up.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed, but actually Lycanthrope did not even skill Wolves, he skilled
Yeah.
Hal at level 1.
Yeah, he
so
did.
that was pretty cool, as he just went to the opposite jungle just saying, go away, Chen, I'm just gonna farm your jungle anyway. As looks like top lane ZSMJ, only 1-1. My god, he must be having nightmares. 1-1, come on ZSMJ.
It's actually one of the bigger thing that he skill How at level 1, and he's jungling with just How. You can see he's having such a tough time. But what he's giving up, he's of course giving up the jungle, but what oh, the salve gets cancelled. Oh man, Puppy is just having his jungle murdered. But what he is granting his team is that whenever there's a lot of physical harass between, let's say, the two mid heroes as well as the two range hero up on the top lane, it is gonna be the team that has a How bonus damage, because you do get insane amount of How bonus damage. I do believe Puppy just suicided on purpose to get a quick trip back home, but right now Puppy is just not getting anything done. He's got no levels, he's got no gold, and he's playing this kind of a semi-support Lycanthrope, and he's not really supporting anything either.
You know it's a bad game when you get your style cancel, you just think to yourself, what's the point of life? I don't even know anymore. Might as well just go mess with some bears and just get sent home back for free. Unfortunately, in real life, that does not happen. But it looks like I'm Morphling having a difficult time up against Dazzle. Pretty tame early game thus far, but it looks like the bottom lane is being won by Witch Doctor and Winner just because they have more range and they can do easier harass, and there's always constant threat of that Shen. But other than that, I think NWO is doing okay.
Yeah, I mean, they're not getting too much more on the Luna. I don't really know her CS 1 and 3. Yeah, she's not doing well at all. And that's expected. There's two 600 range hero on the bot lane. There's a lot of stun damage on the bot lane. And that Chen, you never really know where that is. Look at the warding and the de-warding in particular. If you're for the Scourge team, you just don't know where they are. And if you misstep once, if you poke your head too far out to get that last hit, you're probably going to give up that first blood.
Yeah, meanwhile, Pycat completely handling ZSMJ at this point as, I don't know the traditional morph skill mode at 6.68, but it looks like Pycat having a good time as the Ring of Basilius had to turn on but then turn off knowing that he couldn't push it, as looks like Clockwork versus Asin is being lost by YYF, pretty expected just because range seems to be the deciding factor these days, as looks like there's a bit of an engagement top, not really, just some harassment being traded back and forth, but so far this is pretty tame, so hopefully the action will pick up very soon, and we know it will.
Yeah, both team is very, very smart, very aware of any kind of gank coming in. You can see that Chen trying to chase down a Lion, but Lion had the boots of speed picked up, so he's fine. Vengeful Spirit just trying to deny the rune control to Chen. Chen grabs it up himself. Meanwhile, we have the Wolves and jungling it up, still have that point into How. You can see that he is using the How. Back in the top bot lane here, as there's a little bit of harass against the Moonrider, should be fine. That's just a level 1 Maledict, not going to do too much damage. I feel like right now that CH is trying so much to set up a gank or trying to set up push, but he's not getting too much done, and he's only hitting level 2 right now, so he's actually slower in terms of level compared to that Lycan, and we already spoke about how difficult that Lycan is already having a tough time in the jungle.
Yeah, I mean, this trial line, even if you do get farm line, it's just a winner. She doesn't really change her item build at this point, because at this point she's pretty much a staple still. So she's going to go for the standard item build. Meanwhile, like you said, Sage getting pretty much nothing accomplished. So even though NWO is
here we
having
go.
a
Cast on the
time,
bot lane here. It's going to be a shackle shot. Nice chain stun so far. Where's the stomp? Oh, missed micro here by CH. And will the Luna live? She's trying to tangle around back and forth, but there is going to be found by illusion. The creep blocks her a little bit. One more right click. The last tick of Maledict is going to get a GX. Picks up the first blood. Miracle on the run as well. Not the most beautiful first blood, as there was a lot of extra chasing, a lot of missed chain stuns, but overall they did get it. Oh, Witch Doctor gotta be careful. Tower just focusing on the creeps instead of...
Meanwhile, top lane, Dazzle is in so much trouble versus ZSMJ. ZSMJ completely out of mana. Was Poison Touch as well, and now this is just such an awkward standoff, as one more hit will kill both of them. ZSMJ does have a bottle charge. He is going to use it, or he's morphing right now, and then he's going to use his bottle charge. Get away from that pesky creep, and we'll see if what Pycat decides to do, as the tower's already pushed on the bottom lane, so suddenly the tables have turned, and now it seems like LGD seems to have a solid advantage, and Dazzle does not want suicide. He is level 5. Will he do that? No,
maybe.
He's gonna help Puppy Jungle. He is gonna help Puppy Jungle. Why would he suicide? He's level 5.
He's tanking the creeps.
He's gonna suicide. He's gonna suicide.
He is gonna suicide. Maybe, I mean, he's level 5, so it's gonna take a really long time to respawn, but you know, it's going to be faster than him walking back to the base. Back in the mid lane here, Lion doing some pot shot damage. He is going to be going for a Blink Dagger Rush, but the hook in, well, what a great hook. Great placement of the hook as well. Double damage here on the clock, trying to get the kill. Battery Assault doing it, but look at that. Great chain stun here, but will it be enough as the Battery Assault has ran out, and even with the double damage, could not get the kill against Aizen, one of the more experienced player in the game.
Yeah, Azen made a little bit of a comeback in Dota 2, and then he just immediately dropped off the face of the earth once again. Meanwhile, Chen gonna try to provide a bit of pressure on the middle lane. Looks like the bottom lane, Luna's gonna go in for a kill, trying to pick off Vengeful Spirit, and with the help of Vengeful Spirit, gonna try to pick off Sharigan as the Shackle Shot does whiff for once in its life as the cast comes in. What a cast by GX, and now it looks like Vengeful Spirit completely on one. No boots. Clockwork does have boots. Basalt and Maledict gonna completely decimate Miracle and smartly buys the words right before he dies. Yo, 200 gold. Gotta save up that money.
One of those small things that makes me love Miracle. I mean, like a lot of players, support players, like, oh god, I'm about to die. And Miracle says, yeah, I'll just jump to the shop, buy something quick, make sure I don't lose as much gold. As things like reliable and unreliable have not been introduced at this stage of the game just yet. But look at the defense, trying to be muster on the bot lane. I mean, this is a really rough time that the Sentinel's having. Kuroki's level 4, he's got no farm. Puppy's level 4, and boy, he's got no farm. I guess Lion's doing okay in the mid lane, he's surviving ganks, but he doesn't have his Blink Dagger gold either. On the top lane, I mean, Pycat's harassing his ZSMJ, but I wonder how much CS he's got. Let's quickly check out. He's got 2917, which is not too impressive at this stage.
No, it's
7.5 minutes.
Yeah, but he's completely keeping ZSMJ out. Look at his CS. He has 18 and 4. Just completely dominating ZSMJ. I mean, Dazzle in the lane, you need farm, but you don't need that much, as the Poison Touch is going to take ZSMJ is stunned, and look at how much damage ZSMJ is taking from that Poison Touch by Dazzle. So yeah, Pycat is winning his lane. I'd say that Azen was winning his lane before that gank came in, even though Azen did survive. So even though the tower was lost, keep in mind that the Chinese won't push very aggressively, even if they do have a Chen, but Cask is going to play in on the bottom lane. Here comes Azen, misses the Impale completely, very uncharacteristically sloppy by Azen, as Maledict going to tick in, but Maledict not doing nearly enough damage at this stage, only level 5 Witch Doctor. Shockwave going to usher out the two supports as they are going to retreat, but still a free kill on the primary farmer in Sharigan. Nice victory for NWO.
Oh, maybe it's not over yet. Another Impale's gonna hit. The cast comes in right now, but there's a Clockwork as well. Calix gets one kill. Does he have the hook? He does have the hook, but does he have the mana? No, he does hook in right now for the Vengeful Spirit Battery Assault, still working out. The right click coming in. There is one more beam trying to make it. Oh, the rockets brings down both of them down to about 20, 30 HP, below 100 for sure, but not enough to get the kill. Man, that's the moment where you just cry, Zeus! Oh, Zeus! Oh! Oh wait, no Zeus in the game.
Yo, they should have done offlane Zeus. Actually, I cast the game just yesterday with offlane Zeus. It was pretty hilarious.
Dude, offlane
but
Zeus,
anyway,
new meta, I'm telling you, man.
New meta, but all ZSMJ is just saying, go away, Pycat, I'm gonna take mid lane. And YF is just saying, what are you doing, ZSMJ? Get out of my lane, this is my lane. Not my fault you lost your lane top. Yeah. As looks like Sharigan, ZSMJ, so lonely, has no place to go, and this is the pretty traditional Chinese build. Boots, bottle, BKB.sGty, or is it boots, bottle, Scotty?
Yeah, I mean, there's always some versatility with the Morphling. Sometimes it's Lincoln's Fair Rush first as well. I mean, that bad build has always been in Dota 2. But look at those illusions! Morphling illusion, but the Weave trying to cast burst, a little bit of damage, or excuse me, the plus armor, the Shackle Shot will hit, and Pycat should have Grave, I've imagined. He's going to be graving right now. He's already graved up, and all they have to do is walk right next to them, make sure to cancel any type of restorative. They do get the last hit. Lion comes in right now. There's a Heck trying to right-click him down. Will not be enough. Chen comes in with the creeps. Ashram Shackle Shot, not latching. Ooh, the Power Shot as well. Bring the HP down, but for the most part, a very strong recovery from LGD, especially allowing ZSMJ to be involved in some kills, getting some assists go, making sure that he's not falling too far behind. But look in the mid lane, this is something that we don't see too often, which is early game aggressive pushing. These two carries, a lot of times in a normal standard game back in this era, they'll be farming on bot lane, but they're pushing the clock hook when I get it right now. YYF is just hitting all those hooks, and they're gonna get one kill. I do believe Lycanthrope will make it out alive. He should be fine. But YYF is making his presence known. Watching a game like this makes me think, man, why don't we see more clock? He's so effective.
It's because if you don't get the ganks off, he's pretty much useless in the late game. But yeah, he's a pretty cool hero. Hopefully you'll see him. He's very aggressive, and he definitely makes for exciting games, as looks like action to slow down a little bit, we can just check out very early CS, as meanwhile nobody has significant farm, nobody above 30 CS besides 2 heroes on NWO, but they are getting killed, meanwhile just warding all up the map. And right now what NWO wants is just those levels. They want the auras up, and then they go for their push. And once they get that, it'll be very scary, considering that ZSMJ has not had too much farm, considering that YLF is doing reasonably well, but still no significant items besides the phase boots. It could be a pretty dangerous push coming in.
Yeah, it is going to be a dangerous push. I mean, but you're right. They are an aura-dependent team, so they need that early points of level, and they aren't getting it right now because they're getting killed, and they're not getting too much return kill. One of the weakness of having a strat like this, like a Luna having a Vengeful Spirit, there's not much AOE to work with, so they can't have too strong of a counter. Again, look at this Witch Doctor just solo going at it against Miracle. He's stopping on the ramp. That's a perfect block, and but the swap going to be used trying to go on the high ground, Malik damage, and it looks like Miracle knows he's not going to survive, so he's going to fight it out. Killing spree being picked up by GX, and he is going to feed that killing spree away to one of these carries. Puppy picks up the clock hook when I talked about this. He's always here. Eclipse going to be dropped, and the 4 beams. Wow, Kuroki going to get an extra kill. Power shot's going to miss. Very, very good break here for NWO.
Not a break, as looks like there's gonna go in for more, as unfortunately the poison did tick in, but here comes the wolf. Gonna get a nice shackle by Sherrigan. What awareness by Sherrigan. Looks like Shapeshift still has a couple seconds. Will he get juked? Nice juking. I think he'll be able to escape. What an escape by Sherrigan. Juking perfectly through the trees with the phase, which just completely outspeeding Lycanthrope with barely any HP left, as stop lagging obs. As I think both teams are probably playing under similar lags because it's European versus Chinese, so it's not really favoring either person. But still, nice play by Sherrigan, but Puppy clearly frustrated after that. But they are going to get a tower at the race, and they got themselves some kills. And now it's 5-6, so still, and they got a tower as well, and their levels are going up. So NWO look in a decent position, but now ZSMJ is probably going to get his motor going.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much. Whether it's they're getting themselves kills or LGD's feeding them to them, because those 2 kills, like they just gave away, was not exactly the best play I've seen from LGD. Just a little bit of over-aggression, maybe feeling a little bit too comfortable with their lead right now.
Yeah, I was looking at the clockwork. Unfortunately, he didn't have enough mana to use all of his stuff, so that's why he hooked in and did battery assault, but he didn't have enough mana. Yeah, like 10 mana away, and I don't know if he had the magic stick at this point, probably. But yep, that's probably the reason why.
Yep. Here we go. Looks like the Radiant, or excuse me, the Sentinel team making sure they don't get their jungle too intruded upon. One thing they are doing very well is keeping that mid tower up. It is so important to keep a mid tower up against the Chen, because if he knocks down that mid tower, he suddenly goes in the jungle, steals all your creeps, all your farm, and you really can't come back from this, at least without dedicating a lot of hero. But Windrunner perhaps in a little bit of trouble. There's a Hex opening. We're gonna see a Impale as well. Magic Missile to follow up here. Any defensive? Yeah, there's gonna be one heal. The Stomp coming in against Silkwood. Silkwood's gonna be fine at least for now, but the Beam coming against Windrunner. Yet another kill being picked up here for the Sentinel. They're doing quite alright. ZSMJ is rotating from the top, but it's 5v4 at least right now, and the push is coming perhaps for a tier 2 tower.
Yeah, you sound like Ian calling heroes by their names. Silkwood. You got Silkwood good on the brain, huh? As that was Vengeful Spirit. If anybody is new to Dota 1, that's Vengeful Spirit's alternate name, but looks like there might be engagement. Chen still in position, is level 6, but Hand of God is on cooldown, used to try to save the Windrunner, and ZSMJ is caught in a very awkward position because he's not hitting creeps. Gonna wait for him in, gonna go on the Vengeful Spirit. A nice hook in by YYF once again. Will they grave? They do grave Miracle for a bit, get the weave going as well. Looks like Aizen managed to pick off CH in the midst of all that. Looks like Lycanthrope trying to get his right click going. NWO Miracle does take the fall. Lycanthrope falls as well, as an even exchange is taken, as somehow Blue died. Oh, that was Puppy. As here comes Eclipse, and now Scourge had to be on the retreat. Eclipse still does ridiculous damage with Chen creeps soaking up some of it. Kuroki does pick up a double kill, but those creeps gonna go to work on Aizen, who is level 11, picks up a VIP booster. Nice call, giving it a lot of HP. It's so difficult to bring down a Lion at this stage of the game with a VIP booster. Normally Lion has like 300 HP.
So, wow, looks like they're going to just very angrily ask somebody, one of the observer to leave, perhaps really lagging the game. But really, the VIP booster I point out, this is, by the way, completely unstandard as the build. I talked about the Blink Dagger rush early on, so if you're LGD, you gotta just question what the hell's going on with this line, because you don't pick a solo mid line to go for a VIP booster rush. You go for a very, very offensive item. You blink in, you get a Hex off, you get an Impale, you get a Finger, you go for those quick kills. But right now, with the VIP booster being picked up, what the hell are we kind of seeing? I mean, there's very little to none initiation coming on the Sentinel side.
And this is some of the problems with the Chinese team. Very few problems, but they can get a little bit taken back from unstandard play. Of
Yes.
course, once they get their mechanics down, then they are pretty much next to
I
impossible
mean,
to
right
beat.
now, if you're looking at the items, Pycat picks up a Stout Shield. There's a Vid Booster on a Line. There's a Vid Booster on Kuroki. There's a Stout Shield on Puppy. I mean, whatever you're guessing, it's happening right now, man.
Yeah, as looks like they're kind of defend, but yeah, that is one thing that can be said for the Chinese. They do get surprised by weird builds from time to time. Of course, after that, then they get their mechanics down to a science. But they might get surprised by this very tanky lineup. Miracle or Pycat has a Vip Booster and Stout Shield, very close to finishing his Vanguard if he does go for that. Most likely he will, but this is still the range Vanguard. It has the reduced damage block, and I think probably at this point in your other commentary, you're just saying what?
What? Yeah.
What?
I mean, this is where we talk about why
This
range
is the
Vanguard.
phase where Luminous goes, this is why I really don't like Vanguard on range heroes, blah blah blah, Razor, blah blah blah, stuff like that, blah blah blah, Asian.
Yo, man, I can even mimic that speech I had in the yesteryears. It's absolutely right. I mean, range Vanguard does suck, but what doesn't suck about the range Vanguard? It's a huge HP that you do get, the regen you get. I mean, a lot of times you can see that the regen they're getting generally when you're building a Vanguard or melee hero, you get the Ring of Health first because you really care about the regen in lane. Right now, they just want regen to sustain their push. You see that they are trying to muster in, at least working very hard for that tier 2. They did not get it, but look at that, tier 1 on top, tier 1 on the bot. They're very exposed tower. When you have so much HP, so much regen from a Vanguard, you just kind of sit there and just try to right click a tower with your creep, and you are going to eventually bring it down because that tower, they're not regenning. There's no roof trell in the game. Whatever roof trell version we're at right now, I'm not sure what a roof trell heals tower at this stage of the game because that hero had like 80 change, so I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like Phoenix might be the new tree, but it was always one of my little sort of secret desires that if there was a rework, I'd hope that Sven would become range hero so I could hear you rant about ranged Vanguards on Sven, so it could be like doubly retarded. As looks like there's going to be a push as Weave is going to come in and Pale going to just hit a bunch of creeps, but the summons trying to take it up. And really against the leave, considering there's a decent amount of physical damage from that Lunar Blessing, Command Aura is being leveled up, Lycanthrope does immense amount of physical damage, Dazzle, all his spells are physically damage based, so once that weave comes in, LGD, they can't really fight.
Yeah, and right now, like, minds are being blown because there is a completed Vanguard on freaking line. Moonrider is, I'm almost done with the Vanguard. There's a Belt of Giant Strength of Vengeful Spirit. Of course, Vanguard almost being complete by Shadow Priest. And what's your last hero, Puppy? Does he have a Vanguard as well? He's trying to make it. He's got no go, but he's trying to make it. And this is the NWO Vanguard push strat. We have never ever seen this before this point in time when this game was played, and I'm sure LGD scratching their head, what the fuck is going on? Because you don't get Vanguard online, you don't get Vanguard on Moonrider. These are heroes that need mobility, these heroes they need damage, or at least if you're getting tank item, you get BKBs. Why Vanguard? Range Vanguard suck!
Yo, I saw please rework Sven to a range hero so we can get ranged Vanguards on Sven's, and then Luminous will have his rage all over again, and then my life will be complete.
Making sure we're both synced up here. 31:40 is my elapsed game time. 42:43, because I imagine there is going to be some team fight going on. This is still a very, very early stage of the game, at least for how a game went in terms of length back in the 6.68 days. Games just don't end until 30 or 40 more minutes. And there's a lot of late game grinding, late game farming. Look at a lot of engagement happening on the mid lane waveform coming in right now. They don't find too much. They do find a line though, but with a Centaur. Nice Centaur stomp before its death and should be fine. And the reason that Vanguard also is very, very bad, especially in this particular stage in the game, is that if you don't end the game quick, Vanguard's an item that diminishes in value very quickly. Damage block is not a mechanic or not a kind of defensive mechanism you want to have in late game. You want a lot of armor. And that, 250 HP, that's nothing either. The regen is not what you really want in a late game situation. You just want a lot of armor. And getting early game Vanguard real hurt their late game growth. I don't care if you're Luna, I don't care if you have Lycanthrope and a lot of aura. If you have no damage, that Vanguard is not going to do much for you.
To be fair, when it comes to the late game, like, what damage does LGD have? They have
a Morphling.
They have Morphling, but that's it. I mean, Winter won't do too much. GX might do some. I mean, YF Clockwork is pretty trash in the late game. I mean, if you can just disable down that Morphling, this is pretty good for the NWO squad, as LGD doesn't really have a capable late game that can match up with the NWO squad, but it looks like the heals and mechanisms going to come through. LGD really wants the tower so they can get map control, try to get maybe the push going, as they will definitely not go for Roshan. That's not the point of this. They just want to get map control,
What's
place their wards,
Roshan?
maybe get a gem, and just go with all that.
I don't think even LGD know what's Roshan back in this stage of the game because Roshan definitely not a central focus of this stage of the game. But look at Morphling slowly pushing up top lane here. No ring up saves being turned on, so the push is, you know, not exactly the fastest push. What they really want to do is draw a TP scroll, draw a hero to go on the top lane, and suddenly we're going to see the mid pouncing for that tower. You can see that there's a lot of focus on this particular mid tower, perhaps due to what I talked about earlier. You really want to control the enemy jungle. If you're playing offensive hero like Clock, like a Chen, you want to just pick off hero behind tower. But a lot of Impale, they're just mowing down these creeps. Satyr Hellcaller just getting magic missile, Impale, they're getting nuked down, and look at the poison touch on a Centaur. They can't push, there's just too much AoE.
Yeah, Witch Doctor does a nice demand to the Centaur, as that might be a little ahead of you per usual, as looks like Luna gonna do some push going on the bottom lane still. Well, has levels of Grease because she is level 13, just checking out the levels at this stage of the game. Looks like Luna is the highest level, ZSMJ and YOF not too far behind. There's gonna be a mass amount of teleports for the Luna. Did the hook miss? The hook did miss. Wow, unfortunate for YOF. Looks like you're gonna have to control yourself now, Lily. You missed a hook.
He missed a hook, but he is going to find himself a haster. He better haste the hell out of there. He does see the enemy team coming. And so, in fact, he will. Looks like the push attempt is going to be happening on the bot lane, at least for now, as Luna already have the Vanguard finish, already have the strength shreds. Quickly check out how everybody's doing on gold. 1,000 gold, 700 gold, 700, 500. So not much gold in the pocket. They're spending every penny of it. Is Courier delivering much? There's a Glove of Haste. I do believe that's going to be Venge's strength shreds. And Vanguard finish on Dazzle. Vanguard almost finished on Lycanthrope, and here comes the Death Ball push. Good luck.
Yep, LGD take the mid tower, which they've been throwing against their heads in the wall for a long time, as they managed to completely own that replicate. Nice job, NWO. Cask gonna come in. Witch Doctor, one of the best defensive supports just because of that Cask. Keep in mind it does stun creeps for 5 seconds, so that is really annoying to deal with. But looks like LG, they're a bit concerned. They can't keep pushing mid, as they know NWO has superior pushing if they all devote their minds to it. And looks like they're going to have to make a defense. Chen caught on the other side of the map, does not have mechanism just yet. I guess that was a bug, or as looks like ZSMJ only 80 CS. This is probably the worst state of his life. And
being
Clockwork A is caught in the middle of nowhere. It's going to immediately take the fall to Puppy. Eclipse trying to do as much damage as possible, but unfortunately Chen Creep's taking up so much of the damage. Morph going to waveform out successfully. But they got what they wanted. They got LGD to back off, and they're going to take this tower. Yeah, they got the clock kill, which is so very important. They really don't want to get hooked in by 3 or 4 and get a 3 or 4 man cog. You're pushing, you're clumped up a lot, and this is going to be very, very difficult. That's 2 towers down on the bottom lane, and generally in this particular stage of the game, in this particular era of the game, we don't talk about things like goal difference, you know, tower difference, because pushing wasn't a thing. And like I talked about earlier, Roshan wasn't a thing, but right now, this team, because they're so tanky, because they're regenning HP, they can just mow down Roshan without too much difficulty. And you're wondering, where the hell is the damage source coming in from the Sentinel side? They're all getting Vanguard, so where the hell is their damage? Keep in mind there is Command Aura. Keep in mind there's How. Keep in mind there is the Lunar Blessing. That's where the damage comes in. Everybody has plus like 80 damage just by standing next to each other. And this is where Puppy's hailed as one of the best drafters, because it's just Vanguard skills! Uses A move. Seriously, keep in mind there's Weave and all that damage is completely physical. Keep in mind there's Howl of Terror to further amplify that. So if they charge in, those creeps will die in pretty much a couple of hits to those Wolves and Luna. I mean, Windrunner will just have to back off. Morphling can't wave in because he'll just get ridiculously low very quickly. So this is just complete physical dominance, and I don't know if Ghost Scepter is introduced in this version just yet.
I don't think so.
But not like that would make too much of a difference. You can't Ghost Scepter towers.
Yeah, and the issue is that right now, Morphling is not exactly the fastest hero when it comes to the early game dominance. He's got a Yasha. Like, what the hell is a Yasha Morphling gonna do against a huge army of physical DPSers? Nothing, that's the answer. You don't want to wave in, because if you do the Finger of Death, as well as the Luna and the Eclipse, Luna Beams and Eclipse, they provide enough burst damage to remove the heroes that you need to remove, and then slowly you grind them out, because you have more regen, you have more, you know, overall damage output. It looks like there's gonna be a gank attempt on the top lane, or just a raw push attempt. You see us coming, we're gonna come at your tower, what are you gonna do about it?
And you know what the thing that's really weird is that the Chinese are known for taking up their heroes as much as possible. The carries go for tank before damage, their supports go for tank before other stuff. They just tank up, they love the Vanguard themselves. That's why Vanguard did receive that range nerf, because it was just overly used. but they're caught in a bit of a pick because this is just raw physical DPS, and they really don't have too much tank going for them.
Look,
as looks like there's going to be push going for mid lane.
Lycan has more plus damage than his base damage. Line, very close to having more plus damage than his base damage. Luna, the same thing. Vengeful Spirit, same thing. They are basically, the entire team is walking with DD runes constantly. If you look at it like that, that's insane. Your entire team is DD up. Who's going to see a tier 2 trade. And in fact, we're going to see a base race as a Sentinel is going to try to push it, but Scourge thinks they can push faster. And to be honest, they do push very quickly with the 3 trend creeps. And this is a situation that we don't see in Dota at all. Holy Masters going, what the fuck? And that's exactly what's happening right now. Both teams right-clicking it, and whoever backs up first is going to be in bigger trouble because you don't really have time to Chen, especially you can't teleport your creeps back home. Here we go, melee racks is going to be dropping. Seems like the Sentinel is picking pace as they do pick off 1 racks. Are they going to go for drone? What is the attempt here for LGD? Are they going to be backing off? They are going to be backing off, and looks like the Chinese team has chickened out first. I'm not too sure whether they can defend. You got to keep in mind, if you die right here, you're going to be taking at least 20 to 30 seconds to respawn. And here we go. This is the biggest backdoor of all time. Really, it isn't a backdoor considering that you did push in. Here we go. Hookward in. They did get a 2-man clock, but unfortunately Eclipse thinks that Finger of Death, he's going to be in huge trouble. He just goes down instantly, and the Eclipse and Finger kills the Windrunner. And suddenly this tower, it is undefended. It's naked, and Chen cannot do anything. As you can see, the Chen creeps are slowly mowing their way back on the mid lane. Clock bites back. The casts are flying around, but what is the Morphling going to do? He's too afraid to wait for him in. Another melee Rax goes down. Magic Missile will fly off. It's going to hit on YYF. They're trying to protect YYF. There's going to be worse. Is there going to be a Witch Doctor ultimate? No Witch Doctor ultimate. Clock goes down a second time. He already used the buyback. There's a Hex. There's going to be impaled very, very soon. Morphling's going to go down as well. Does he have buyback? I'm not sure if he does, and whether he does or not, it does not matter as the swap goes off against Witch Doctor. Witch Doctor's going to go as well. This push, 2 minutes ago they were kicking a tier 1, and now they're just in the base throning. What the fuck?
This game is so funny as Chen just made a big mistake. I think a lot of it does have to come to ZSMJ as another shackle shot going to come in as well. ZSMJ saw that Yasha had a nice bit of gold in the bank. Clearly we're not anticipating the base trade. That might have cost LGD as they were just trying to get as much victory as they could, but they realized we don't really have much damage after the Chen creeps die. So that's really what they cost them in the end, and even though Sentinel don't have much damage, they have a lot of plus damage. So that's really what's going to win them the game. Epic is the call by Holy Master. Completely on standard Dota, and look at all this gold that NWO ends up with. It's just so much gold, so fast. We're able to take towers really, really quickly, and LGD could just not deal with it.
I wonder why it took so many years for the current Dota 2 metagame to cop to realize that, hey, pushing is good, as NWO just out-push everything. Of course, the strategy was drafted with that in mind. I mean, going back to level 1, it was how? It wasn't a quick jungling build for one. He just want to make sure that he wins lanes. It is so important to win the lane. It's so important to keep the Morphling down. Dazzle did an excellent job in doing so. As in, dodge a lot of ganks, did not go down. It was very important to farm up that first Vanguard. Make sure don't die in time so you get the levels of, you know, the Vengeful Aura, your Luna Aura. Everything worked out perfectly. It's as if a genius was drafting it. And Puppy, you know, he's pretty smart.
Yeah, this is pretty much one of, well, I mean, we saw this a lot in KSN, but this was probably like one of the more recent memories that we saw Puppy's genius in Dota 1. He had a little bit of a falling off, I think. I'm not too sure. Puppy haters, please don't hate me too much, as I did not religiously follow his career, but this is one of the more recent Dota 1 examples of his action, as shortly after this, NWO was picked up by GGNet, and then Puppy got transferred to Navi, and then rest is history. You know, it's not to say that LGD didn't do well. LGD still did very, very well. But this game just brought a very, very unconventional idea to Dota, and it was really refreshing to see, just considering the current metagame at that point. It was very stale and just sort of boring. So seeing builds like this was really, really special.
Yeah, I mean, you see that LGD is trying to adjust within the game. Looking at the items they have right now, Chen, you can see that he's picked up the mech immediately straight into a Vlad's, which is not a standard Chen build, at least back in the day, where you turtle out for 50-60 minutes of gameplay. You can see that Benz is picking up a second buckler, you know, when you already had a mech. Back in the days, the mech and the buckler armor bonus did stack. So they were trying to adjust in-game, but they were just a little bit too slow in terms of that adjustment. And NW had it. You know, their strategy was too beautifully planned out. and they just push LG down. To be honest, I really thought that the LGD squad should have just stuck there and just went for the base trade. You don't know if they would have outsped it. I mean, it's hard to say because Vanguard doesn't give you any damage. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I mean, they must have known that once Chen teleports back home,
Yeah,
he's
that was
gonna come with him.
Yeah,
As,
that's. I think they just chickened out, and
yeah,
NWO had
Chinese style
bigger
is-
balls.
The Chinese style is just to play safe, and they said, all right, why be risky? We should play safe. We have a Rex. We can back up. Let's defend our Rex. We have enough money for buyback. Blah, de blah, de blah. And then, they just got owned.
Alright, that's gonna do it for this week's The Dota Show Throwback Thursday. I hope you guys enjoyed this particular Dota 1 replay. We will be back this particular Sunday with the Sunday Trivia Show. And of course, if you're watching this on YouTube and you want to participate on the Dota Show or come here just for the Thursday segment if you love Dota 1, we will be here on Twitch TV/LuminousInverse, 7 p.m. Pacific, Sunday through Thursday. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and until next time, this is B-Balling and Luminous signing off to you guys.